Well, howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning back in. We're getting going on another stream here. I've got Ryan on the line. You should be able to see his icon over here on the right. I want to say hello, Ryan.
Hello.
Sweet. Oh, man, it's not doing the cool stuff. Let me see if I broke it. Yours should have a little spectralizer thing like mine does, but maybe the audio's too quiet. Bump your audio up a little bit. All right. I was last working on the send max feature, and actually I signed out of the wallet. I'm just gonna re-import a phrase I already have. So let me paste that in here and put an alias and a password. All right. Okay, so we've got this wallet set up again. And per, a conversation Ryan and I just had, half an hour ago? Half hour, something like that. We talked with Cool AJ86, and it sounds like I am missing some of the functionality he built in the Dash Wallet JS, which was this one. And so there's some functionality from Dash Wallet, and I had implemented this select optimal UTXOs, but it sounds like that's only part of what we needed. There's some other functions in here like use matching coins and use all coins, and use matching coins uses this pair inputs to outputs. And so the functionality that I was trying to figure out with the send 100% is actually in those, and I haven't implemented them, and not currently using Dash Wallet JS in, I believe it's in the package.json from a long time ago, because I originally thought we were going to be using that. However, I was then told by Cool AJ86 that we wouldn't, that I shouldn't use it, and I should just copy the functions because a lot of it was tied to Node.js. And so it sounds like we're going to try and get that updated so that a lot of the code that I ended up having to copy over will be updated inside of Dash Wallet, and it will be usable as a library that is not node specific. Do you think that's an accurate summary?
Yeah. And we're not going to do that today. We're going to do that tomorrow.
Correct.
Today we're going roadmap for finish up phase 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And longer term though, I would have, when you see all your dependencies, I had envisioned that the Dash Wallet library, we would import the Dash Wallet, which the Dash Wallet library would basically have all of these things as its dependencies, and then we would have two Dash. I know that's a long discussion, but if we get into it tomorrow, find that stuff. Thinking about that we only have one main library, or a couple, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, something like that.
Yeah. I agree. I was originally thinking we would just have Dash Wallet and maybe one or two of these others. I mean, like, we need the barcode QR libraries. It makes sense we need something like that. And cryptic storage is not something AJ wrote. It's something I've worked on, so it makes sense we need that for the encryption. But yeah, I was hoping there would be even less dependencies here. But if AJ could get Dash Wallet the library updated, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I am noticing that there is some delay and like of your audio cutting in and out, so I might mess with the settings here for a second. It might actually be because of some filters. I'm gonna turn those off. All right. There were some filters on this mic, but hopefully with those off, it's better and doesn't like fade in and out. I don't know if that was coming through on the video or just on my computer, but hopefully it will be better going forward here. All right, so we want to update the that's too big. Too big. We want to update the roadmap a little bit, but are you wanting to do that first before I work on anything else? Because what I had initially been planning to do was get into the receive changes that I discussed on the previous stream. I know you wanted me to recap what I was thinking there. Do you want me to start with that, or should we go over roadmap stuff and shift some of the remaining items in this phase 1 testing? So a lot of the feature stuff, should we work on that first, or should I recap the receive idea I had?
Let's start with the receive idea. Yeah.
Okay. So assuming I remember everything I said in the previous stream, instead, I believe this is based on your comments in one of these, probably this one and this one. So number 40 and number 38, I think. You have comments that revolve around receiving and the QR code stuff. And so what I was thinking is similar to what you said in there. You start receive and you should see a QR code. And I'm kind of thinking we'll change this so there will be a button at the bottom here that says like select an address or something like that. It doesn't have to be those words, but essentially we'll default to your 0 index and 0, so 0 account index, 0 address index for the HD path. And if you select, if you click the button that says select an address, it would drop you to this, and we'd essentially have this set to what you asked for, your own wallet. So it would say JoJo in here for me. And it would also allow you to select from your contacts. But we'd also have another field in here that would allow you to select from the addresses that have been generated on your behalf. So to find out if we have any balance, I know you've watched a lot of this, but I'll recap it for anyone watching, is we generate a bunch of the address index and account indexes, and then we check each and every one of these addresses with a bulk check to the Insight API, the insight.dash.org API, and we say, hey, does this address have any funds attached to it? And for example, you can tell by how these are all arranged, 19 of these don't, and this one does have an Insight object set, and it has some values in it, and it tells us what the balance is of the combined UTXOs here. So I was thinking that instead of showing this field first, you show this first, but we have a button down here that if you click it, we reverse it. So then you get into this field. You can select the alias or the contact or yourself that you want the address for. And then you could also possibly see any of the addresses generated for that contact. And because we have the UTXO amounts or this count here, which is pulled from dash site, we could have, like, if you see an address, I guess I don't have a contact yet. Let me generate a contact just for test cases.
Be aware that I think my video is probably about 5 seconds behind the audio. So when you're saying this, that, I just maybe describe it a little bit more so I know what you're talking about, because it might, and maybe move slower.
Okay.
So you're just creating a contact to show what you were talking about, I guess.
Yeah. So, in here for the contact, we have the alias, which is the top one, and then the name for the bottom one. I was thinking that and sorry, and I'm remembering you're 5 to 15 seconds behind, likely, if what I'm seeing on the streams is right. So if you're in the receive funds, right now you pop open into the exact same dialog as the send one, where it lets you select an alias and enter the amount you want to send, and it's more or less the same dialog. Now, based on your feedback, I was proposing we reverse the dialogues. We show the address index and account index 0 QR code, but we add a button to the bottom of the QR code dialog that lets you select an address, or more specifically, it would dump you out. Not that probably doesn't sound right, but it would send you to what is now, right, like at this moment, the initial dialogue you see for receive. But instead of what it is currently, is you'd have the alias, and when you select an alias, it would also show a field where you could select the addresses for each of those aliases. So you could select an address, and you could also still enter an amount, but you'd also be able to generate a new address if necessary. So if you're running out of addresses, unused addresses, but so I was thinking in the second, like, text box data list type ahead thing, we could have, instead of the alias and name, it would show the address as the main thing, and then underneath it might show used 1 time, used 5 times, whatever. So when you see your list of addresses, based on the amount of UTXOs it has, it assumes those are uses. And so you could go, oh, I want an unused one, and you could actually select it. And we could probably intelligently select an unused one as well. But if you wanted to see your addresses, maybe even by their address index number, we could display that better.
Okay. So from what I'm understanding so far, you're proposing to, what I want as the user is when I click receive, I'm immediately presented a QR code to receive with. And that's what you're saying we should do. And then it would default to just the generic 0 index address or 0 index friend. I still think it should probably increment the actual address, in the HD path. So it would be the 0 index account, let's say,
which we're considering the main wallet. Yes, your main wallet.
Well, and by main, more specifically, what that would mean is, like,
no one has access to the XPubs of that main 0 account index. Exactly. Only you do.
Yep, but it should still increment the addresses each transaction for privacy reasons, and we're on the same page there, right? So it would default.
That's where I'm not against that, but I think
Are
there's a
you
case to be made to show all of the addresses and to let you select between them. And that's what I'm saying is we'd modify this receive dialog a little bit so that when you open this, it would
and by
be
this
so that
receive dialog, are you saying what's now on my screen as the share to receive funds dialog? It will
no,
be
not the QR code one. The one that actually has the input fields that you can enter the alias or the amount into.
okay. Hmm.
So
This is
I switched, but what was that?
this is a hard discussion because of the delay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just tell me again, when I click receive, what is shown on the screen?
The QR code view.
And what else? What do the buttons say?
There would be a button added to the QR code view that says something like, or like select an address, change address. The wording, while it matters, it doesn't matter in the sense that what that would open is essentially what is the first dialogue that opens right now.
Okay, and it
So
would
we
open
would
that
be,
on top of the other one.
yes, so we would be flipping the order of the dialogues so
Yep.
that you get your desired, this is the QR code you can send to it, it will work, you'll get the money in this wallet thing. So it does that immediately like you wanted. But once we open the what is now currently the first dialogue you see, when that opens, there will be an extra
Let's call it
field.
the amount dialog or something.
Okay, the amount dialogue, yeah. So when you open the amount dialogue, you would see what is currently there, but there would be one additional field that lets you see the addresses that have been generated, both used and unused for that account index. So for the zero index, that would be treated as your main wallet index that no one else has access to. Or if you've selected one of your contacts aliases, it would be for that contact's address. And I think we would still use the way that it is selecting a new address every time, but I think it should show it should let you know what it's on. So like it is actually something that I've been annoyed by is short of being a developer and going into dev tools, you have no way of knowing what these are connected to, where these addresses coming from.
Yeah,
And
I understand, and there's a balance to be made between hiding details that you don't want to confuse somebody with and presenting them with too many details. Like I think that I agree that I kind of want to know what address index I'm on and which ones I have funds on. I kind of want to know that because I know how HD wallets work. But the Apple approach is always like hide as much as possible and just give your users a very slick, easy, intuitive, not even intuitive, but slimmed down interface. But I don't know. Part of me wants it to be one dialogue where it's just a receive dialogue. It has the default QR code, and when there's a drop down that you can change the default to one of your contacts instead of opening up. I don't see the need to open up a second modal for it. I just kind of want it to be one modal that
I think
can
it's
be seen.
because of the amount. If you want to set an amount, it will just be too much for that dialogue that already has the QR code.
I don't think
So-
so. Like, that's kind of how most wallets, like if you open the Dash wallet, the normal Dash mobile wallet, I'm opening it right now, and if I hit receive, I get a QR code. It does have another button for specify amount. That's, yeah, I don't know. Are you might want to look at this while I'm looking at it as well.
I'm opening it.
So
So
when you click receive in the normal,
it does exactly what I'm saying. Ha.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing right now. When you click
Okay.
send, there's an option for scan QR code. Yeah, so they're different experiences altogether. And so that there's that specify amount button that does
Yes.
click, basically make exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it still goes to a different dialogue, which I'm not saying we couldn't shift ours around, but right now our screen real estate is limited.
Yeah. Okay.
And
yeah, you've talked me into it. If for no other reason than to be consistent with what already exists on DCG's wallet. I don't know if we should keep all the same words and all that stuff, but yeah, it would be an experience that's people are familiar with because of that. I think they've changed this, by the way. So maybe it used to be the way that I was describing it. Not many people choose the specify amount when to receive, so it's not that big of a deal either way. There's
well, I mean, I think that would depend on who, maybe not even who the target user is. Like if you're trying to use this for a business, for example, you're going to want to specify the amount. So almost everything you do is probably going to have a amount specified.
Yeah, it really comes down to, I think that crypto users have gotten so used to the way that crypto works, is that you have to initiate by sending. Like the sender, we've gotten used to the fact that the sender has to initiate, and so that's typically how it works. But it's, in theory, just as likely that you could initiate by receiving. Like I'm thinking about in-person use case right now, where, like you're saying, if you're a merchant, or even if you're just with friends and you want to receive in person, then we should give people the option for the receiver to specify the amount in an easy way.
Yeah.
So I'm just stating that I've because I've been doing crypto for 10 years, I just have gotten so used to that idea that the sender initiates, and that's why, and then the sender is the one that's initiating the amount.
Yeah.
And in person that works because you can do it either way. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it the way that you're describing. We can always tweak and things afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to. I don't think we want to implement that, because I don't know if I'm needed for that, but I am needed for the road mapping stuff. So maybe we should switch gears to that now.
Sure. Let's see here. So I think we'll pull up the roadmap and code here. We'll pull up the pretty version first. So I haven't really updated stage 1. I've been working off of your phase 1 testing here instead of updating any of the roadmap stuff here.
Yeah, that's what I want to accomplish, is get these all either done or in one place, and moving on.
So I think we should shift all the features that you think should make it into a stage. I'm going to add it to the bottom to start, but we can reorder it once we've got a feel for how things should go. So these things, text is redundant, but no need to change for now. Now that all these other things are done, I'm assuming this was in regards to one of the other issues, and we've changed some of the wording, so some of it doesn't make sense. I'm assuming I don't need to copy that into one.
Yeah.
This from Julius, is there some reason it is necessary to use terms disconnect and add wallet as opposed to just log in and log out? You and I have discussed this several times. I don't think, at least unless you've come up with something new, I don't think either of us have anything disconnect. Just it is semi-industry standard, and since I voiced my opinion on these aren't users. You're not logging into a system. And so log in and log out to me is the wrong terminology. And it implies that there is a centralized system you're logging into.
Yeah. We both agree that log in, log out is not the right one.
Yeah.
Connect and disconnect. Let's just move this to phase 2 because it's not something that I think we need to sit on it for a little bit more.
Well, phase 2, or should I add a undecided or something, or like backlog or something like that?
Oh yeah, backlog would be better.
Okay. Then at least it's captured. But if we don't really know when or where it should be worked on in stage 2, I don't think it should be added there. All right, so 2 more from Julius. Minor aspects of the user understanding. How does the wallet actually work? What information is your browser storing when you create a wallet? Is it downloading a temporary self-custodial wallet into the browser's session? How does that work? Where is it saved to? How does locking work?
Let's add this to the backlog as well, and let's give it a title of something like tutorializing for the user, or explaining to the user, because that's a whole story that would probably need to be done. We can probably add it to one of the stages or later, but I don't know what stage to put it in right now, so let's just backlog it.
Okay, user experience. Should you be able to create a new alias every time you log back in? He's using the term log back in, but he means connecting your wallet if you've disconnected it.
Yeah, this is one that you and I have talked about as well. I don't think, I think that
We're kind of on different sides of it. This is where I think you'd prefer it set, but like for me, because there's the difference between importing a backup versus importing a key store. The key store has no alias data, but the wallet does. But there's no reason you have to keep that wallet alias. And the use case that I thought of that might be useful is if I create a wallet on my phone and I call it JoJo, and then I create a different one on my desktop computer and I call it JoJo, but then I decide I want to import the phone one on my computer, I might want to rename that and say jojo.mobile or jojo.android or whatever. And so being able to change the alias,
You need to do that right on the welcome screen. Can't you just do that after you're in the wallet?
No, because you would clobber.
Loading screen.
Well, either way, we need that alias there. It's not, at least in the import page here. Let me disconnect this, and I guess we'll just run through it.
I agree that the alias should be imported with the file when you select a file for a wallet backup file. That's very helpful. I just don't think it should be editable right then.
Yeah, and
Have we
I've
gone through this?
yes, I know we have. That's what I was repeating for anyone watching this. Is we've gone through this. You and I disagree essentially. And I was saying why I disagree about it not being editable is I think if I'm importing a wallet from a different device or something, I might want to change the alias right then while I'm thinking about it, while I'm importing it, and
I know, but
not
that's such an edge
wait.
case. That to
I
me,
don't
that seems
know.
like such an edge case for a user. Like most users are going to be new users who don't want. They're going to think.
Okay. But to that point, if they're a new user, they're not importing a wallet most likely. And if they are doing the import or adding an existing wallet as what it's currently called, they might have a phrase they want to use, and you do absolutely have to set an alias if it's just a phrase or a key store import.
Oh no, we both agree there.
Yeah.
It's the key. It's the only thing that we disagree about is whether when importing a backup, whether that field should be editable or not. Right? That's
Yes.
on the key store. We
yes.
agree. There's
Yeah.
an alias right there on the screen,
Yeah.
editable. With the backup, still have the alias field there, but my thinking is to make it disabled. Bring it in, but have it disabled because that tells the user you've already named this, and it's bringing it in, and you're good to go. All you need to do is click the button that comes up. Add wallet is what it's showing right now, I guess. I don't know if that's the right wording, but
Yeah.
So let's just leave it as is. However it is right now, let's just leave it that way. And
Mhm.
we can either check that box or we can put it in the backlog as something to think about again. But let's get it out of the way for phase one.
Okay.
We'll just leave it as is, and that'll be another thing that we just continue to get user feedback on.
Yeah, that's where I don't think it's a big enough issue. That's why I haven't changed it yet. Is to me, it's beneficial to be able to edit, even if it's only for me that it's beneficial.
Okay.
And I don't think, yeah. All right. So fix, this isn't a mobile review, but I seem to have noticed that I always have to unlock my wallet on mobile. Maybe there's a bug on mobile. And you and I have discussed this again. It's not a feature. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah.
We'll make an issue out of it and document that it might, like your hunch is that it might be a feature of Apple wallets, but let's document it so that we know.
No. It's a feature of all browsers, as far as I can tell, at least mobile ones. Because I have noticed certain scenarios where if I exit my browser for long enough and come back, the session is cleared. And because that session is cleared, you have to decrypt again.
Okay, but if that's the case, then we're sending the wrong signal with that toggle initially that says save for this browser session. I know that, okay, the user might expect the browser session to last as long as they don't close the tab, and so it's jarring when they have to enter it in again. They just don't know that browsers end your session, but maybe it's just as simple as renaming that toggle to remember for however long we think that the browser is going to hold that, whatever criteria the browser uses.
As far as I can tell, there's no way to determine that. Like every single browser is going to be different, and it might be different per device from what I had read. So
I don't know how it's labeled right now as is. Does it say anything about the browser session, or just say remember me?
I think it says remember for session because it's being stored in the session storage,
Okay, well,
which I can show it right now while we are talking about it. Hopefully by the time your video catches up, it says remember password for browser session.
okay. All right. Yeah, to me, as a somewhat initiated person, user of a browser, I just think that means until I close my tab. And when it doesn't do that, when it doesn't hold that for longer than I expect, it bugs me a little bit. Either way, it bugs me, but at least I have an expectation, a better expectation if we prepare it properly. But
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those things. Let's make an issue out of it so that we can track it and backlog it later. So both make an issue out of it and backlog it. And maybe you need to rename the issue. And maybe even close the issue. I don't know. Whatever you think is appropriate.
All right. I just converted that to an issue. And I will change it around a little bit. Let's see, copy that. Put it here.
I'll be back in a second.
Sure. All right, so on mobile, user has to unlock wallet frequently, even though it does not appear the session has ended. And I'm going to rename this. Actually, I will add a label real quick. No, it's not exactly a bug, but I'm going to label it a bug for now because it bugs people. Let's say mobile session ends.
Well, you were saying it's not just mobile, weren't you?
It is seen the most on mobile, and it's because of how users' devices lock and the screen turns off. So when your screen turns off, there is something built into mobile browsers where it will clear the session for the browser.
Okay.
And so it could happen.
On mobile.
Yeah, like so many people leave their desktop computers unlocked. And even then, like I know on my desktop here, if I lock even in private windows and I unlock my computer and come back, the session is still fine. And so it's not something that I'm seeing, at least in my testing on desktop. But I'm not using a Mac. It's possible a Mac would also do that same thing. I mean, isn't the newer versions of Mac OS basically iOS? So I thought there's something about it, but so let's see. Mobile session appears to end early. Want that for now. So we've got an issue for that. This is, I forgot about this. We were trying to use GitHub projects at one point, but I haven't really been doing that for a while now.
I know we backburnered that at the incubator level. We can do it on this project if we want, but
I'm not against it, but a backlog there would actually probably be better because then you have the like actual backlog, like more
yeah, no,
Trello
I
style
agree.
backlog. So it might be good. I don't want to set that up on this stream. Huh?
Yeah, that might be something that I set up.
Yeah.
I will do that. I'll make it
Okay.
into the projects.
Okay. This is an issue though, so it can be added to the backlog once projects is set up. Like I think we have a weird mix of I was tracking some stuff under projects that Cool AJ86 made, and then I was tracking some stuff under my own personal project. And so that's where I'm like, this, it might make most sense, like going forward, to get a actual GitHub project set up specifically for the UI version of this. And then, yeah, we could track this backlog stuff even easier in there.
Move stuff around. Yeah.
Yeah, but for now, I'm okay just adding it here. And then even if you want to set that up, you can just go through the roadmap here and grab the stuff. So I'll leave that as is for now. We've generated the issue. Where'd it go? Mobile session appears to end early. All right, so minor visual design notes. The landing page feels slightly empty, awkward side columns. Does that mean the onboarding page or this actual screen once you're connected to your?
By that, that was somebody else. That was Julius or whoever
Yeah.
that was. So let's backlog that as well. I
Mhm.
just want to backlog most of this stuff.
I
Just so that we
figured.
can close out and restart phase 2 fresh.
So should I check these off from the list once I've added them to the README backlog? So like check that. Because we've got these 19 to 41 tasks, whatever. I don't know if you care that much, but then we at least know we've copied these over somewhere.
I wouldn't check them if they're not done. I I would say that once we're done with this discussion, we move the backlog to a different issue or something.
Okay.
And then we'll close this phase 1 testing issue, knowing that the other things are in a different issue, and then they'll be unchecked there, and that will be fine.
Okay. So the landing page feels slightly empty. Feature. I kind of want some hover options right on each contact in the list. This would bring some life and color to the otherwise sparse list. I've gone over this several times on various streams now. My feelings towards it.
You don't need to repeat the send receive stuff. I know that.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I want the trash icon.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's the one I'm not opposed to.
Yeah.
And really star I'm not. Huh?
Yeah, we don't need the star either. Let's do the trash thing, whether that's at the end of this stream or at the beginning of phase 2. I guess that depends on how far we get with the rest of this road mapping.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm going to copy this over to. I'm going to add it to stage 2.
Okay.
And I'll copy at least this one here. All right, feet. Maybe we should use the big empty space in the contacts list to recommend pairing with other prominent wallets, mobile wallet, desktop wallet, etc. I don't know what that means. Mobile wallet, desktop wallet, etc. I mean, I know what etc.
Um,
means, but I mean,
like I would, yeah, maybe etc. is not the right thing because there's basically just those two. I'm just saying that we have other wallets out there, the mobile wallet and like the DCG mobile wallet and the DCG desktop wallet. Those are
mhm,
both capable of, I know the mobile wallet is capable of sharing an XPub. It doesn't do it in a way that's scannable, but I can
mhm,
copy it.
mhm.
And I would like to be able to, when I'm testing, I would like to be able to pair with my mobile wallet. And so this is just an issue. This is just documenting that maybe we could suggest it as a UI UX thing. But let's let's move that into phase 2 or backlog. Let's move it to backlog so that I think we'll probably just move everything to backlog that we're not going to do at the end of the stream. And then I will take some time and put them where I think I should prioritize them later.
Okay,
Off.
so I will copy all of that and drop it in the backlog. Oh, that's annoying. Let me edit this. Edit. Then I don't have to redo that. Okay, I suppose I can go back to looking at this one and then only switch if I need to copy something. So, edit profile modal, remove wallet funding feature from edit profile modal. I'm all for completing this as part of the QA. That was going to be one of the next things I work on. So maybe after I fix the receive thing, I will go ahead and remove that.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so I'll do the receive dialog changes first and then get that removed once it should be handled correctly by receive. So I'm gonna leave that one for now. Style top button is adjective noun, but to blah blah blah. Bottom two buttons are verb noun. Maybe make consistent.
This is not important for now.
I agree. So I was just gonna backlog it. I mean, literally, if you have words you want me to use for each of those, you
Yeah,
can just tell me and I will replace the
I
words.
have to think about it more.
All right, so that's done. Add refresh button. Maybe it shouldn't really be needed. That one is already an issue, and I agree with that. I think we should do it, so I'm gonna leave that one. Feet max option in all send screens. Um, this is what we were discussing with AJ. It seems like until he has been able to make the changes to the Dash Wallet JS, um, I probably shouldn't spend any more time on that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's put that at the top of phase 2. That'll be an exception. Let's put that at
Okay.
the top of
Yep.
phase 2.
Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna drop the feet there though, and max option. Add max option. To send. Although, actually, I'm gonna change that. Because that is an issue already. Oh wait, it probably won't link like that. That's fine. I'll leave it like that for now. But I do want to change the title of it before I forget. So I'm just going to do 41. And I'm gonna add a label here of enhancement. Assign that to myself. Okay. QR code to fund my own wallet and receive modal. This is also going to be fixed in this stream, hopefully. Should be done. So feet. Every time I click request, the wallet generates a new address. This might be unsettling for users. Need to rethink this functionality. This is actually
That
why
goes
I was
along with the
saying,
other one.
what was that?
That goes along with phase two, that other the max thing, because depending on, we might be changing how payments and transactions are created um, significantly with what AJ's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that would affect this, where maybe we don't want to, like, if a user clicks in and then clicks back out, that we shouldn't increment necessarily, but to get that feature working well, I think we need those library updates first. So that's something that we should think about later.
Okay, so I'm going to
Tell me what
backlog
you were
that.
thinking. Tell me what you were saying though before I cut you off.
Um, this, what you said here tied into what I was thinking for the receive and why I was proposing in the receive dialog where we switch this around where it shows the QR code. The QR code thing has a button that says select an address. And when you get to what is currently the first dialog, it would have the ability to see your addresses that have already been generated and see which ones have been used. And so I was thinking that would solve that issue that you're mentioning there, where then it wouldn't have to generate a new address every time it loads. It might just like grab the next highest index that has no funds on it and then just sit on that until you either tell it to move on or it receives funds to that, and then the next time it loads the dialog, it would increment again. So that's kind of what I was thinking there is we would have a way of both displaying what addresses you have available, incrementing it if you want, but also seeing which ones have been used and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's and that would be an issue for after libraries figure. I think they're coupled issues. They're not necessarily coupled, but it's something we'll deal with later.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and backlog that.
Yeah, I mean, you could backlog it, or you could try to rephrase it and make it sit underneath what we just added added to phase two. I don't know if they're separate issues or not. I just know that they would both be easier to handle after the library is worked out, that we're going to be working on tomorrow.
Let's circle back to that after we get the rest of this moved. Right now,
Okay.
I'm going to leave it at the bottom of the backlog, but if we want to move it once we've got everything added to the backlog that we want, then we can shift that up. And I mean, we're almost done here. So we've got new contact flow issues. This is one of the other things I was discussing, and I'm not sure I have a solution for it design-wise yet. And if we go into it, this is where you were saying overall this modal seems too busy and is not intuitive enough. When I click this, it's not obvious what I'm supposed to do. There are two main and very distinct expectations of what to do to add a contact. 1, initiate a contact request. 2, follow up on a contact request. I'm not sure the best design, what the best design is to make this intuitive. Here are some raw notes. Send, share your contact info. Send link, copy and paste. Display QR, enlarge image. Receive, accept, import someone's contact info. Receive link, copy and paste, and scan QR camera button.
Yeah. So overall, there are two primary flows. There's, like I said, you're either initiating a contact request. Or better terminology might be either you're sharing your pairing data, or you're adding someone else's pairing data. So like share pairing data or add pairing data. I
Yes.
don't know exactly if those words are solid, but that's a good start. Like share pair data, share pairing data, kind of implies that you're initiating. Um, so it kind of be like a toggle approach. Um, where you're doing one or the other, and then those two things open up separate other options. So I don't know how you're going to handle that UX wise, but I would say maybe defaulting to sharing, because somebody needs to share before. um, that is logically what needs to happen first, whether you're the one doing that or somebody else is doing that. That is what has to be done first, is somebody has to share their pairing information, and then subsequently that shared pairing information gets added to the other wallet. And so I would say default it to sharing your pairing information. I don't know. I go back and forth. Um,
It's a bit of a
Either
chicken and
way,
egg scenario.
what's that?
It's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario because someone has to share first, someone has to add first, and it has to happen with how we've built this wallet. In scenarios where we have a centralized system that manages users, and we know all the users, we know where their accounts are, and can connect two users together, only one has to make the request and then the other can accept it. But we don't have that luxury, at least yet. Maybe at some point, if we integrate the platform stuff, we could do that. But right now, we can't easily do that. And so, yes, it's chicken and egg. Someone has to be the egg, someone has to be the chicken.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, I think the simple way is to make it a toggle. Um, whether I'm not saying technically make it a toggle. I'm saying conceptually make it a toggle where you're seeing one side of the flow or the other side, but not both at the same time. And I would say just default it to the sharing, and then you can click a button that switches the view to adding shared information.
Yeah, and that's what I've discussed a few times on stream. It is kind of how once you've paired with a contact, you can get into the information you need to share with them, and it's more in line with what you're saying is this is just the information they need to pair. Um, but um, yeah, I mean, we could add another button straight up here where instead of new contact, we've got add a contact versus share my info with I don't know. I don't want to get too wordy. I think it should be one or two words at maximum, just like new contact. Um, but
Yeah, it really comes down to terminology. and that's why this is hard.
Mhm.
So I think actually what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to the roadmap now that we know. I mean, this is the issue that we want to handle, obviously, at the end of this stream. But I kind of want to. Did we finish up the road mapping so that it's only the stuff that we want to finish today, or at least try to finish today, and to
Um,
get stage one done?
Not quite. What, 3 or 4 more issues here? Let me run through them real quick, and then we can cycle back to that one if that's what you want to do.
Okay, but I think you need to
So
circle back.
cycle, not circle, circle, not cycle,
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm just messing with you.
What about putting data into a normal web link? That is something that we planned for. I've mentioned this several times on stream. I just haven't gotten to it. We want that in this version. I can work on that. I don't think with what's needed right now and like UI wise, the things I need to finish, I do not think I can finish all the UI changes and also get this working before I need to be done for today. So I don't think we'd have all of the QA stuff done today, but we can have a bit more of it done. Or we can shift this into phase or stage 2 and just add that near the top.
I think that's what I'd rather do. I think I'd like to close out phase one and get it merged to master,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what we end up finishing. So at the end of your stream, will be doing finishing that up. And if you're not done, then you just add it to phase two. If you are done, great. But either way, I'd like you to close out and merge to master, and then let's close out this phase one
Okay.
today.
The last 2, they're actually checked off. I didn't realize that, so we can consider them done. This I actually went over in the stream earlier. It's the adding the contacts wasn't saving the XPub, and you kept getting finished pairing. And I believe you were somehow on an old version because that was something I was seeing too, and I had fixed it on. Okay, yeah. So I'm relatively certain it's fixed in the most up-to-date version.
Yep.
So that's checked off. It's done for now, or at least I'm considering it done unless it comes up again. And then the last one is style. The modal could use a header like I think all the other modals have. So that's for the contact modal. And this is in the design. It's in the Figma. This is exactly, well, maybe not exactly, but it's very similar to how it looks. And at least part of the reason it would be difficult to add the header to this one is because of the delete button on this dialog. It actually takes up the space of where the text is going. So we could center the text, but I think I actually experimented with that and it doesn't look good. This is already different enough. So we'd be basically redesigning this modal to accommodate the header. And I'm like, if you really think it needs to be there, I can, work on it, but it's not.
Here's the issue. Here's one thing to think about. When we put a trash can on, I was just thinking when we put a trash can on the bar itself, on the contact bar itself, then we wouldn't need a delete button in this menu, in this modal. But I'm almost kind of rethinking whether we should have those trash modals. I don't know. What do you think? It doesn't need to be in both places necessarily, but
so that is why I had the. It's why I had the issue with all of these send and request because I was feeling overwhelmed. It's why I haven't imported it. It's like send request, send request,
I know
send request. I'm like, oh my gosh, kill me. Like, too many buttons. Like,
Yeah.
and delete, like we have to have delete. But now we have this, we never planned for this pairing scenario, but after talking to AJ, we had to have something like this. But now we have these, and there's no way to delete because you click them and it goes back into the, like, basically add a contact. So if we had the delete here, you could at least pop open that same dialog. So you could at least pop open this confirm remove, and like, you know, we would just say, are you sure you want to delete this unpaired contact? Like,
Yeah, I just want a way to be able to delete. And right now there just isn't a way. So that's really the only thing that I want finished before we close out phase one. Stage one, whatever.
you want what
I want
finished?
the ability to delete an unpaired contact.
Okay.
I don't care where it is. If I have to click into the contact, that's fine. Go ahead and click that finish pairing with contact, just so you.
Yeah, it's open now, so you'll see it in a moment here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if any of my streams are less behind than the others. Do you generally watch on YouTube?
I'm watching the stream on YouTube. Yeah.
I wonder if like Twitch or Rumble is actually more up to date than YouTube. I don't actually
We'll check
know.
that. Yeah. This is this finish pairing with contact just doesn't have the option.
Well, and if we're trying to figure out a way to improve this where it's not showing all this information,
yeah.
I mean, one of the things I've been thinking about is some sort of tabbed interface where you can toggle between the two, but both of these aren't showing side by side.
Well, that's exactly what I was describing. I called it a toggle, called it a tab, but it's conceptually the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how to do it inside the design. Well, what I was saying on the last stream was I don't want to introduce a new paradigm for how a dialogue or modal or something entirely different is doing it in stage one. Like, if we're going to add something else, I want to have our MVP done before we like go, let's create a new and better way to do this. And that's where I've been trying to think of a simple enough solution that it can be implemented with what we currently have already, or with minimal effort with what we currently have already. And I'm not sure we can accomplish that with what I'm thinking right now. We might be able to. I'll have to test some stuff though, and yeah, but if I'm changing that up, there might be some way of adding the delete into this, or I think that
they're the same issue.
but I actually I do not feel good about adding the delete into this portion, because this is about adding pairing, not about deleting. So I do think it would be a better user experience if the delete was here, like you were saying.
I think you're thinking that just because of how you've titled this card. But if you titled it something like edit contact, then it would make sense to have the delete option right there. And finishing the pairing is essentially editing.
Now, it's a I disagree from a fundamental functional level. The finishing pairing, yes, you're adding a lot of that information, but the reality is the finishing pairing is all about that address, all about the xpub or the address or whatever. And
Right.
um, until you've added that, it's like, yes, you could, and this is why it's there. This is why you can see it, is if you've shared this information with someone. So I've shared this with you and you've paired to it, but you did not send me your information. You could send funds here, and if it disappears, I will have no idea. And if I delete that, I will have no idea, because it is this existence that is that we're generating the addresses off of. So we could hide some of that functionality, and even if you delete this contact, it just won't show. But you could have a scenario where you are receiving funds to an unfinished paired contact, and that's the entire reason this is showing in the first place.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe it would help us both if we just kind of went through the pairing process again from scratch, so that we run into it. Because I think fundamentally, I I'm trying to, like, let's just go through the motions of we're trying to pair with each other right now, and
Mm-hmm.
let's try to get a feel for what UX feels best to us. So if I just said to you, "Hey, let's pair contact with each other," what would we do?
Um, let's start a little more general level. Let's say we went to lunch, and um, I'm trying to pay you for my portion of lunch in Dash. That's something we could do, correct? Um,
Mhm.
so, but we haven't paired either of our wallets. So we both have, maybe we even have existing funds in a wallet, but we have not paired together. So our initial thing is both of us would need to click new contact, at least right now. That's the first thing both of us would need to do, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'd click new contact. And one of us has to decide, or with how it's set up right now, neither of us have to decide who goes first. If we have each other's numbers or email addresses or Discord. Right now we're doing this on Discord, but if we have that, I can copy my URI here, and I'll do this in Discord. So I'll send this to you in Discord, and now you have my URI. And if you're doing the same thing, you can send me your URI on Discord. But if you didn't, and I close this, you could pair to this wallet and send funds to it, and I wouldn't know if we weren't adding this the way we are now. So, yeah, are you generating a contact for me?
Um, I am, but I ran into that same issue that we spoke about the other day, where the QR code that I'm getting when I hit new contact looks very lightweight. And if I copy the URI and I send it to you, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to send you the copied URI right now. And you can see it's just a Dash address. And I think that's because of this issue
Huh.
where I have multiple instances. I just deleted the one that I had pinned to my home screen, that was the previous instance. So now I only have one that's pinned to my home screen, but I probably still have several wallets open in different
Mm-hmm.
browser tabs that's monkeying things up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
So you're
know.
trying to do this from your phone.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess we don't need to go into that because I think that but let me do it on the
Actually,
desktop.
this is actually a great example. So for this scenario, I don't have a complete URI for you. And so I could copy that one, and then I'm paired to just that address. So if I paste it in here, but it doesn't fill out this other information, so I could say Ryan, and then I could say Ryan down here and add contact. And now I'm at least paired to that address, but it didn't give me all the additional XPub stuff, which means I can't generate new addresses every time I send to you.
Well, you wouldn't want to put my name because that might conflict when if and when I do send you my pairing information. You don't want information about me that's going to conflict with the information that I have about me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in this scenario, this contact is already screwed. So I've already added that address and paired with that contact, and we currently have no way of editing that. And this is something I was covering on stream that I guess isn't in the list here, but I was hoping to get to it. That's also why I wasn't sure I'd be done with the stage 1 QA stuff. Is I think we need to add similar to the contact address here, but I was thinking it shouldn't appear as a field. It should probably just show the XPub or the address and then have like a edit icon like the QR icon is. And so then you could go in and actually edit this, but we have no way of editing it through the interface right now. And so I do think we should add that into the edit contact where now I'm paired to a normal dash address, not an XPub.
Yeah. Well, I think at this stage, the best thing to do right now is to just let you take. I've given you enough of the input of my input that you know what user experience I'm going for. Less information and toggled or tabbed approach, and then just kind of see what you come up with. I mean, you're a user of this wallet, so you want it to function well, and you know what that feels like. So, what do you think of that? Just you take a stab at it and get as far as you think you can, and then at the end of the stream, just move whatever you haven't finished down to phase 2, and then close out, merge to master, so that we're done with stage 1, and we'll move to stage 2 tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, cool. It's hard having the. I would probably stay on a little longer, try to help work things out, or whatever. If there wasn't this 10-second delay, it's just impossible to actually communicate with that. So we'll need to figure that something out there too.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
I'll leave you to it.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All right. How's about I start some music? Okay, so we've got, let me go ahead and push these changes to the README, and maybe I'll include 2 as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and push those. That, I'm not gonna push this stuff because it didn't actually solve anything. I was hoping it would with the storage clearing issues, but it didn't. This... So I don't want to spend more time on this right now, other than I'll spend a little bit just to undo some of these changes here. So I'm not going to do the keep change thing. I'm going to drop that because we will be making other changes based on the work AJ86 does. I'm going to drop this keep change thing. And I want to find create transaction. Let's see. This. We're not going to do that send full thing. But I might leave the state being set. So I'm probably going to leave this stuff for now, as it might be useful in the future. Okay, so I'm gonna add that and this. Let's see the comparison. So fund buttons. Actually, because this doesn't work, of course it's the one Ryan wanted, but since it's not going to work yet, I'm going to leave it off. But this is where, since the work has already been done, even though I now know it wasn't what Ryan was wanting, I'm going to leave these. It's easy enough to delete them later if we don't want them. So, but for now, it adds use. Even, you know, if it's only to me, like, you can do those. I could also leave the 100, but since it isn't working properly, it would probably be more annoying to people than helpful because it would fail to send when you click it. So I'm going to leave that off for now. It's not ideal, but... and let's check form. So field amount, we do need that. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this code as well. We're going to say feature UI, new feature, amount, percentage, buttons, 25%, 50%, 75%. All right. And I will go ahead and push those. All right, so that should all be deploying. That gets most of our changes from earlier added. I'm gonna cancel that because I was just doing that to copy stuff. I'm gonna move this off screen. All right. It might be worthwhile to move this into the backlog. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I don't think we're going to fix it for stage 1 QA, but it should probably stay on our radar. And I'm going to move that to the backlog as well. And I'm actually, all of the done to-dos I'm going to delete since they are committed already. Okay, let's do both of those. All right, and we'll go ahead and push that. All right, so now our list is a lot cleaner. It might be worthwhile to shift some of this stuff too. I don't know. I'm going to focus on this stuff first. So let me make sure this is up to date. All right. So that's number 40, 34, and 38. So 34, 38, and 40. Okay, so 34, 38, 39, and 40. So not that one. 38. Do I have that open twice? Do. Okay, I do want to get this done as part of stage 1, but it's not my highest priority right now. I do want to focus on the receive changes first. So that, I think these two, 38, 40, the main focus right now. Okay. So let's try to refactor this receive dialog. Right, so this is where receive is currently opened. And this is what I was saying. Well, at least it's opened from these two right here. And it's literally changing that name from send funds to receive. I thought there was one, oh, the action intent, that. So the action is being set to receive as well. And other than that, it's the exact same dialogue. So that receive is this. And we're just doing some stuff inside of the dialogue to toggle between them. So what we probably want to do instead is what this does. So when you click receive, probably, let's see, intent is received. So when you do this, we want to essentially do most of this outside. So let me grab all of this for now. And I'm gonna comment it out for now. I might actually still need this in here because it will still modify the other dialogue, I think. Okay, so we are missing quite a few things from the other one. So this might just be wallet here, maybe. Let's see. And contact and two. Let me move this closer. Okay. Now I can toggle between them a little bit easier. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I'm going to close that. There we go. So we're needing in wallet. I don't think we're going to have two there. Let's see what we do here. So two, send, two starts with, so if it's an alias, we set it like that. If not, where does in wallet get set? Oh, so if no in wallet and no state wallet xpub, we use that. Okay, so what I think we'll do is delete this. So I think we actually want this. And we might delete that. Let me just read through this first. So wallet, receive wallet. Let's check out contact. Okay, it's also set there. So all the contact stuff, I think we won't be using that. Let's go into request QR. So this one, and I that closer to. Okay, so what we're looking for is contact and to. So what happens if they're empty? All right, I probably only have about another hour, maybe a little bit over an hour that I can work on this. So hopefully we can get this done, at least a chunk of it. Okay, so contact is only used here, and if it's set, it's used. Otherwise, it goes to 2. So 2, so if no 2 equals state.2. All right, and we want to find 2 then. All right, so really 2 is only used here as well. So I think we could drop contact, and 2 would probably be a receive wallet address. That. But I could also check. So 2 starts with @. It starts with @. It's an alias. We find all of that information. Or it's an address, which is what I was thinking. And this is where I think we want to override the button. But I want to set it to something like this. Submit text, submit alt. So this would be Okay. And do we need all this? So we derive to the receive wallet. If there's an X key ID, we get the item. We change the updated at the address and the address index. And we batch generate addresses for the receive. I don't know if we need to do all of this. I'm actually going to drop that though, because it's distracting me. And I'm going to drop that. All right, let's see if anything breaks. Well, it seems to be loading. That's good. Always a good sign. All right, so send. That's still working. That worked. Easy SY. Showing the same address each time. Maybe I do need a console log, so I want to got what receive address, state wallet. Let's also do temp account. I don't think this would do anything right now. Although it might. Let's go into there. Let's see what happens on submit. Ooh, it might. Actually, it would probably just close. Okay, yeah, it just closed. So on receive, it closes. And what we would want is, do we have intent in there? No, we don't. So we want something like the FDE. And we will need form data entries. All right. So form data entries, FDE. And then we need to check the intent stuff. And we would check select address. So FDE intent select address else. We're going to move this into here, but also paste there and say select an address. And I might actually do it like that. Or, yeah, I'll do it like that. And this one. It will contain it slightly better. Okay, so now receive opens and we get this. So receive from contact. If we click select an address, we get select an address. Part of what I wanted to do though is to return like that. Okay, so then if we refresh and do receive, that does not close it because we're returning there. And so I can click that well, I guess it closes if I click out of it, but I can click that multiple times. Amount. Nan. You're not a number. That's actually kind of weird to me. FDE amount. Oh, that's why. I was wondering why it's not undefined. Let's see if that fixes it. I was expecting it to be undefined, not nan. So now if we do what? Select. Amount is 0. So that's also okay. Yeah, so with amount being 0, it should just return empty and not show. So amount is default to 0 there. So as long as we're not overriding it, it should be 0. Means it doesn't show there. And I think in this generate payment request URI, if amount is greater than 0, we add it. But if it's not, we don't. All right, that's good. Oof. I'm wondering if this is the account index address index 0. So let me go here and edit, copy. It is, so it's not oh, gosh darn it. Did exactly what I didn't mean to do. All right, so that is the same. It's not incrementing, even though I didn't think I changed that much. I think this should have been incrementing here. A request or render, receive wallet. That's what happens here. And that's how that gets set. So we've got wallet address index is equal to address index or 0 plus 1. So that should be incrementing. And then we derive that information. Oh, maybe we need to set it like that. See what that does. Ah, that's different. 912H. There we go. Okay, that's funny. So I guess 2 is not really being used in this instance. So we've got get contact here, and that's where 2 gets used. Oh, it's commented out right now. That's why. Whoops, that's where it was getting used. So I don't even need 2, I don't think. Technically, this might be getting added, but since it's commented out, it's not being shown. I'm gonna delete it for now, and I will delete this. Then we can come here and disable that. All right, share to receive funds. Okay, so on select an address, this is where we need to flip-flop this. We need something like this inside of here. And we need that. I'm gonna cut it there and wait. Where's name being used? Name. I thought name was being set in here. That's a little confusing. I guess it's not being set, and that's not being set. So I think it's actually being set just by getting the intent. So FDE intent, I think this would be receive. And we also need to bring in app dialogues to here. User info. Okay, so I take it user info also comes in here. Which makes me wonder if we actually need to provide it. There, so app state contacts. Might shift that so they're next to each other. And that's commented out anyways. 2 is null. Okay, and we need to edit. Let's see, send or receive here. Okay, so we do already. Wait, no, not there. We need request QR. We need app dialogues, app state, and user info. I think that's what we need. So if we refresh this and we do receive and select, boom. I doubt this would actually work. Chances are if we do anything in here. Oh, actually, we commented it out, so it shouldn't work at all as far as I'm aware. But it's also not... Oh, derp. That's my bad. We don't have a paired contact. I'm gonna pair with a wallet I've probably already paired with, but I'll add that and then add that. Okay. So now if we do receive, and I've seen that address before. Oh, that's fun. Well, that's all kinds of fun. Failed to execute show modal. The dialog is already open as a non-modal dialog and therefore cannot be opened as a modal dialog. Okay. But that closed. Is this one? Oh, that's interesting. Let's refresh and keep track of this a little better. Okay, so we have no dialogues now. We click receive. We've got share to receive funds dialog. If I close that, it's gone. Oh, don't move. Go back. All right. And let me shift these windows around a little bit so I don't have to toggle as much. Okay, so if we click receive, it opened again, close, receive. Now it seems to be working. Did I close and then click that too quickly? That still disappeared. We did get that message there. Do we get it again though? That's odd. Okay, so send or receive dialogue. Now we have the alias. So if I do that, actually, let's cancel. So we've got 9Z, 9R. Select. Receive. Does nothing. But that's expected because it's all commented out. That actually looks like it would have been a bug. Maybe. Oh. That's because those were already commented out. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to delete those so I don't make that mistake. Okay, so receive 9Y2H KL tag WSO7. Right, so it is cycling these now. If I select an address, that pops up. If I select that and receive, okay, that's funny. So it did it update the dialogue? I think it must have. So what I think happened here is we changed this footer, but we did not update it here. So let me paste that there, comment this one out, fix the indentation, and refresh. And actually, now I'm realizing, right after I removed that, that I probably need to do send or receive close FDE intent. Do I need to do FDE intent? Or I do that elsewhere? I think I generally just say close. I'm gonna just say close. All right. So refresh. Receive. 9Y2H. Select an address. Byte. Receive. GDFYV. Let's look inside of our application addresses. No, I'm gonna try and resize this a little bit so I can have these side by side. And I'll copy that and delete that. Okay, so there's the first one. And it is account index 1, address index 2. Okay, if I do this again, looks like it changed. I think it changed. Did it? Yeah, it changed. So now it's 9 LOD. Let's see, 9 LOD. Nope, it won't find by that. XY1 cam. That is so bizarre to me. Why does that filter, but when I give the exact address, it shows all of them? So dumb. But regardless, that is the next address index. So same account index, next address. So that's working. You can select. It would be nice if it knew you were already on that, but I suppose we switched that belatedly. So I think we need a way to set that across the dialogues. Let's also check this. So receive. All right, it did set that amount. That's good. And let's also, well, that's really good. It's uh-oh. Might be having a brownout or blackout here. Hopefully that was a fluke. But if I get disconnected, my apologies. I might wrap up my stream early. Hopefully not. Okay, so I thought this closed, so send or receive. That one should be closed, not hidden. But it's clearly still there. Maybe it needs the intent. Let's leave the intent there and see if it works better. All right, so receive, select an address, 1, 2, 3, receive. So I think that should have closed. I'm confused as to why it has not closed. No, I closed plenty of others. Raise import close, for example. And then it renders more stuff. So send or request. We get through all of that. We get down to app dialogues, request QR, render. We render it. Once it's done rendering, we tell this one to close and that one to open. I suppose I could change the order just in case. Let's try that. I don't think that's going to fix it, but we'll see. So receive. Right, just that one. Select an address. Do that. 1, 2, 3. Receive. That didn't close at all that time. Okay, so it is closing in some fashion. Seemed more like it was hiding. Wonder if I move it above these. Let's try that. Okay, refresh. Okay, so receive, select an address. 1, 2, 3, receive. But it's still there. Why is this not closing? Did I mess up the handle close? Maybe that's it. Seems like it's pretty close to at least that other one. None in there, none in there, none in there. Handle close. This one has this set timeout. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Let's see. But chances are I might need it there as well. Okay, let's see if that solves it. Okay, so receive, select an address. About 1, 2, 3. Receive. Hey, it's gone. That was it. Okay. If we open again, this time do that. It cleared correctly. Okay. Right, share to receive funds. Amount. QR code, the address, copy URI, select an address. In reality, I don't think this handle close is actually necessary. So this is the default. And it doesn't look like it's adding anything to the default, so actually that's why it wasn't removing. I think I could just drop this entirely in this scenario. And we could probably drop it. Oh, wait. We might want it just for that, actually. But this one doesn't have that. I think it's safe to drop it here. And this one doesn't have it at all. Okay. I think that should still work. And receive, select an address. 1, 2, 3. Receive. It did close. Good. All right. Share to receive funds. Dang, didn't mean to do that. All right, share to receive funds. I'm thinking through something here. I wonder if instead of the field like this, maybe we could combine some of this. So if above the QR code, we add this to select, And then for this one, if it was also a selector, and you could select the from the available addresses, then you could have this one dialog do most of what I'm thinking of, and change the button to similar to what Ryan pointed out in the Dash Core mobile wallet. I don't know if that's what it's called. It might just be called the mobile wallet, Dash mobile wallet, or something like that. But in that wallet, if you let's see, in that wallet, if you go to receive funds, it shows the QR, and then you click a specify amount. So in this scenario, we could kind of drop this, and instead this would say specify amount. So yeah, maybe we could do that. But let me, before I do that, let me see what this looks like. That's one of the other concerns I have, is we have limited screen real estate if we're trying to keep it working on mobile, which again, mobile has not been a main target, but if we can avoid breaking it, that would be great. That would be my preference. I'd rather improve upon things and improve mobile rather than specifically broken things. So I think we might have enough room there for, that looked weird. Yeah, so I think if we add the alias field, I want to check this real quick in so the Dash mobile wallet essentially has a tab interface with receive and send. And on the receive one, it shows the QR code. And then you can specify an amount. And after you click specify amount, even though toggling between send and receive doesn't change it, once you've clicked specify amount, even if you back out, the address changes there. Well, darn it. I'm getting near the time that I'm going to need to wrap up. I don't know if I'll get everything that I was hoping to done. Or rather, I should say, I'm definitely not getting everything I was hoping to done. Let's put it that way. Okay, I want to try this if I can. So send or request. Let's come up to where the HTML is. We essentially want that. What was that in? Field set, article, field set, side. Side. Okay, before I copy that, I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to say go alias. Or maybe I'll say alias selector. And then I will copy this. And let's see. This might go haywire. So let's see. State slugs form 2. Alias. Don't think we need the QR thing. State contacts. We would need the contacts provided for that. Maybe we'll just do that and see what it looks like. But also, let's go to request QR and add the contacts like we had here. Okay. That gives us app state contacts. So we would at least have them. Okay, let's see what that does. Actually, let me exit that for now. Receive. Well, that's not right. Oh, yeah, it is. Because I didn't add it. Derp. Derp to derp. Alias selector. Okay, let's see if this looks right. Oh, that don't look good. What if we drop all of that surrounding stuff? Let's see if that'll do it. I'm gonna drop article and div. And undent that. Alright, let's try that. That's closer to what I was expecting. Here to receive funds. If you selected that, we would need to add a input change there. But what we don't have here in the contacts is our own alias. I just had a thought. I'm adding this next to the input, but I'm not sure it needs to be added next to it. Theoretically, since multiple dialogues could use this, it may make sense to add it either to the top level body or right inside the main. Because I don't think the data list is actually shown. It just adds the data. What did it say there? In the rendering, the data list element represents nothing, and it, along with its children, should be hidden. Yeah, so I could actually render this only once. Maybe even next to the contacts. So I could actually render it inside of this section, most likely. And then it's just there, and any form that needs it would have it. And I wouldn't need to re-render it for each dialogue. Let me see. Might try to do that real quick. Let me reverse to that. I'm gonna copy that. And let's do contacts, list contacts. So it will likely be set up contacts list. That looks overly sparse. Okay, article address. This is looking more right. Item. This must be item. Here we go. There's div. And we don't have a footer. So we could maybe do this. And item. So we should have state contacts. I'm gonna copy both of these temporarily. Drop them there just to see. So state contacts length is greater than 0. Or an empty string. That awaits. So async await. That's why we're awaiting there. So theoretically, we could do an async await in the footer. So async. And we could await the footer. I don't know if we need to await the footer, but we could. So state contacts, promise, state contacts. Map, async, await. You're very confused why I did this. Not easy to read. It's not what I normally do. Okay, so State context length is greater than 0. We do that. An empty string. State contacts map. We probably want to do this instead. Okay, let's see if that works. Loaded. That's always promising. Data list. Looks like it worked. And it didn't include the unfinished pairing, which is right. If we want to auto-complete our own alias, this is probably where we should do it. But before I do that, I actually want to find... Okay, so we've got that there now. So I think we can eliminate this here. And I think we could eliminate this here. Okay. Assuming that works. Looks like it's working. And receive. Cool. Okay, so we can do that at least. What I was saying is if we want to be able to select our own wallet alias, so, you know, I've got JoJo here. This is likely where we're going to need to add it. Shoot, I need to wrap up. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this done. Am I? Wait, did that actually set correctly? Let me retry that. Receive. Select an address. Byte. So I wasn't watching that closely, but thought I set byte there, and then do that, and it actually changed it. Did. So once I set byte, that's cool. I wasn't expecting that to work. off the bat. I was assuming I need to do more for that, but this, yeah, this is why I was saying we couldn't add that much into this dialogue. I was hoping, but I forgot about the amount, and now that I see this, it's getting cramped. We could change font sizes, we could do different things like that. I also think, like, the title is getting cramped up here. The button is very small. That does not look good. It doesn't match the rest of the design. So there's a lot of things being compressed. What happened? Oh, that's funny. We must have an on-click on SVG. If no name to lowercase is equal to SVG, or parent no name is SVG, we open it. Okay. That's not what I intended. Let's see, where are we setting the SVG? Right here. Nope, that's the dash mark. So this QR SVG, we create and create uses this, which is QR code. And we set a class on this. What is the library I'm using again? QR code SVG, I think. Or is it HTML5 QR code? Dun, dun, dun. I'm guessing QR code SVG. Oh, come on. Let me click that. Stop hiding. Got it. All right. That was going to drive me insane. I think this is what we're using. I think I've actually forked one of these and made some changes, but they're not done. Yeah, if I could set an ID or a class on it, that would be super duper helpful. But it's not looking like I can easily. So what would likely be better is if we do class QR SVG. So we've wrapped it like so. We need to find the handle click again. So event target. Actually, let me go back here. I'll just call this QR. And then I believe there's a way to test event dot target dot oh, I could do that maybe. So what does that do? Share aside, and then it will be dot .qr. So share aside dot .qr. So class QR QR wrapper. Okay, so QR wrapper. Contains event target. Oh wait, something went wrong there. There we go. Okay, so that might work better. So we receive, select an address, do that. Dot 1, 2, 3, receive, and that. Gosh dang it. So it should have only applied to that. Field set aside. Oh, I'm a derp. I'm a derp. That's my bad. Okay, that should work. Let's see. So I'm gonna clear that. Receive. Select an address. Come on. About 1, 2, 3. Receive. And click. Yeah, there we go. And that one still works. Good. All right, that was very odd that it did that. And not something I even knew to test for. Okay. But yeah, this looks like garbage. All right, it's not garbage. I've seen worse. I'm being honest, but it ain't great. And I want slightly better than great. Or maybe I want slightly better than garbage. I don't know. You don't know. I want something, and it's not this. This. Yes. So anyways, if Ryan's still watching or watches this later, this is why I don't think we should overload this QR code thing. is once the amount is added, like we can start tweaking sizes, but there's only so much you can do in the space. Make this scrollable, but none of the other dialogues on mobile are scrollable. It might look okay here where you've got more space, which is fine. But if we want to support mobile anytime soon, breaking this now, we will regret it. So yeah, it looks fine here, fine-ish. Let's say fine-ish, fine adjacent. But I ain't loving it. So for now, I'm gonna come back up here and delete that. And delete that. Okay, so now we do receive, we do this. That looks okay. You just can't change the alias, which is all right. It wasn't really responding to it anyways by default. We could change this from select an address to so instead of select an address, select a contact. Okay, and then I think we need to set that here as well. Okay. So now if we do receive, we do, it already says select a contact. We can maybe change this from receive funds to choose a contact. No, we can't make this too long. We only have so much space for the title. And we don't want, the more words you add, the less clear things become in general. And so if we can keep these to 1 or 2, 3 or 4 words, 3 or 4 is even too much. I don't love this one. I think finding titles that are short and to the point are better in the long term. And even buttons here, like I'm okay with 3 or 4 maybe in a button when it spans this, but when you've got cancel and delete or cancel and edit, cancel and save, whatever, and instead of that you have cancel your selection, save your contact or something like that, it gets too much. It takes too much mental process. And so even that is too long in my opinion. Like that's okay-ish. This one's okay-ish, even though I don't think it any longer properly describes this this dialogue. I suppose this is technically working. I'm not super happy about it. I'm not in love with this solution. But it might be okay for stage 1, and we can say stage 1 is working, this is a slightly better flow, and then address it more in stage 2. So I may go ahead and commit these changes and push them so they get deployed. And then at least, you know, Ryan can test them, see what he thinks, and see if it's worth addressing it as soon as possible or not. I kind of don't think we need this right now. I might do this. And we're not using that. I don't think we really need that anymore. We are getting into the right area, so we already know that, and it's opening the right thing. And contact. We do want this change. Okay. But what the contact change is missing let me see. Okay, so I was saying what the contact list, I believe, is missing is this alias. But I don't have time to fix it right now, so it's not going to get added right now. I need to wrap this up. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this a fix for the UI and styles for the most part. Change receive funds QR flow. What's happening? Let's cancel. What's going on? Oh, I didn't save that. Okay, there we go. And we'll push that. Okay, and I think I need to wrap up here for now. And I will be streaming tomorrow, doing a joint stream with CoolAJ86. So that will be around 10:30. Maybe it might be closer to 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So, you know, if you're around and you want to watch and join in and chat, please consider checking it out. Let me go here. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. And please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, following, commenting. And yeah, thank you. And I will catch you all next.